Hey, everybody. Welcome to my first ever episode of Coast to Coast, where you get to learn about great realtors across the country and where they're from. So you can decide if you want to move there. I can help you find someone. Today, we're lucky enough to have Joanna McKinley from Denver, Colorado, who's going to tell us all about Denver. So, hi, how are you today?
Good, doing well. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be a part of this. So I appreciate you asking me, and I'm excited to share about Denver.
Not a problem, not a problem. So, for those that have never been to Denver, tell us a little bit about it. What makes it special?
Yeah, so I love Colorado in general. I'm a native, so I just have a special, it's just a special place in my heart. And Denver is really cool because we're a metro city now. So we've grown so much. We're bringing a lot of tech and fun restaurants, and we're so close to the mountains, but an easy drive to the airport, and you can fly to just wherever in the US, direct flights. So it's just an amazing location. You have 300 days of sunshine every year. So that's the big selling point, and the people are just super awesome.
So, me being from Florida, you have this thing called snow that we don't get a lot of. How is
Yeah.
it living in the snow?
I love it. I absolutely love snow. I love getting snowed in. I am currently snowed in right now. So there's some pluses and minuses to it. I think driving is not my favorite thing to do in the snow, but it's really cool. And I think what's really nice about it is there's so many fun winter sports that you can do. And we have tons of skiing. I love tubing. I love snowshoeing. I love hiking in the snow. So it's just the outdoors is just amazing, and so you can never get bored doing something even though it's snowing outside.
So, outside of the Denver area, if you move up to the mountains, what's your favorite area in the mountains? What city do you like?
So there's so many beautiful cities. There's two that are my favorite. My first one is Steamboat Springs.
Okay.
It's beautiful. They have an amazing ski slope there. But my family owned a cabin outside of Steamboat for about 15 years, and it was my favorite vacation spot. We would go sledding, build snow igloos. It was just amazing. So that area is my favorite. And then the second area is Beaver Creek, and it's a cute little ski town. Not many people, it's kind of nestled in between Avon and Vail. So not many people know about it unless you're really dedicated to going there. But it feels like a little European town, like you're in Austria. And all of the buildings reflect that architecture. And it's just so cute and such a cozy little place. And it's a smaller ski slope, so it's not as busy as some of the other ones, which is kind of fun when you don't want to be around everyone or wait in the ski lift line for over an hour.
It's actually funny that you mentioned Beaver Creek. I had some friends that literally just went to Beaver Creek and got back this past Tuesday.
Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's such a beautiful place. I love it. If I have a chance to go to the mountains, that's where I go.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out next time I'm up there.
Yeah.
So, tell me, is real estate hot there like it is everywhere else?
It's crazy. um, I actually was talking to someone the other day about my first year in real estate, and I thought my first year in real estate was crazy, and it was really competitive. But I think each year since then, this is year 4 for me, it's gotten even double time as crazy. So I mean, we were getting offers 1 to 4% over, 18 offers, 100 plus showings. It's just the nature of the game. If you're a seller, it's amazing. But also if you're a buyer, if you get a house, like, you have automatic equity in your home and you've made money on it by the time you move in.
Yeah. What's the median sales price currently?
So in Denver proper, the median sales price, it fluctuates, but it's around that 700 point now.
Okay.
In the metro area, you're going to start looking at like the 525, 575.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. How long are the homes staying on the market? Are they fast?
4 days.
4 days?
4 days, yes. So we usually list on a Thursday or Friday, and then we hold the showings over the weekend, and then we have an offer deadline on that Monday or Tuesday. So that's why they're on the market for 4 days, because if we didn't have those offer deadlines, it would probably be 1 to 2 days, I'm assuming.
That's hilarious because also in Florida, we list usually on a Thursday or Friday.
Okay, cool.
So,
And what's for you guys? Is it 4 days? What?
We're about 7 or 8 days, give or take.
Okay.
And some of the reason why is because we're having an interesting situation where sellers are getting a little bit greedy, which it's fine, but they're listing too high and then have to come down on pricing versus going lower and shooting up. So, but it's because they're seeing you can get whatever you want, just throw it out there, and that doesn't always work that way. But we also have a very big difference, median sales price. Like in the Orlando area, you're talking about like $358,000 roughly. So a little lower than Denver. Definitely a little lower than Denver. Now, Denver, did you guys start having a boom after, because for those out there that don't know, Denver also has legal marijuana, correct?
Yes.
And I've had friends tell me that the real estate market really started booming once that became legalized for recreation.
So it's a little interesting. So I actually had moved right when I'm out of state for a couple of years, right when they legalized marijuana. And so it was crazy to see the difference before and then after I'd moved back, because when I moved back, it had been about 5, 6 years since they'd legalized it. So yes, I've seen that, but I also have seen more of an influence of just different people moving here, not necessarily changing the housing market. Okay. So I think it's because we've had a lot of huge tech companies moving here. We're having a lot of people from California and Texas. And then with the pandemic, it's brought so many people from New York and New York City, because Denver kind of has that fun city vibe, but there's just so many things to do outdoors, but people can keep their salaries from New York and just work virtually. So we've been seeing a lot of that. So that's mainly more of the impact. I think it's mainly the companies within that time period since we've legalized marijuana that have brought more of the people.
It's funny that you mentioned New York and California. Have you watched South Park ever?
Yes, I have.
Did you see the real estate episode?
Oh my goodness, yes. It's hilarious. It was actually cringy kind of, because it's so true. I felt that personally, and my friends that have seen it, it's hilarious. There's so many things, like all the Tesla, everything is true. Even my open houses, that's 100% what happens. So it's great.
That's funny. And I haven't watched South Park in many, many years, but my buddy texts me, he's like, South Park is about real estate. Go find it and watch it. And I was just sitting there laughing because I'm like, yeah, I could see this happening. So I totally see this. Now, I know we talked a little bit about the winter, but you guys have a summer season too, don't you?
We do, yes. And it's interesting because winter, the way that the snow melts and moves, like you could have a 60-degree day. Like we were in the high 60s last week, and then like below zero this week, like a couple days later. So that's kind of how our weather is. So summer, like in real estate perspective, we don't really have a cyclical market. So we're always moving. All of our corporate relocations are from October to January. And then our spring market is actually getting more and more competitive earlier and earlier in the year. So we had it's officially starting like this week. But I would say at the end of January, everyone was ready to go buy a house and list their homes. So it's a balance though in the summer, because everyone wants to be outside and do those weekend camping trips. So sometimes the listings start slowing down, especially a couple weeks before school starts. We have an early school start. So we start like the second week of August and get out the last week of May. So everyone's trying to get their last minute vacations in. So usually after June, a lot of people are out doing their vacations and everything. So there's a slight change. So May and June are pretty competitive, but the other months are a little bit slower.
So being that you're a native, what has been your favorite experience living in Denver?
Oh,
I know, tough questions. I asked the hard ones.
I know it is. So I grew up in Castle Rock, which is a city. Now I would consider it the Metro Denver, but when growing up, it wasn't. So I grew up on a ranch. So I grew up with acreage, horses, cows, all of that. And then I switched to living in the city life. And now I live in an apartment with tons of people right off the highway. So I think what I love about it is there's so many fun things to do. There's so many amazing restaurants tries to encompass a lot of cultures. Everyone is so nice. Like you can meet a friend just standing in line for a restaurant or at a coffee shop, and everyone really wants to build those relationships. So one of my favorite things is to go to different coffee shops every week and meet the baristas. If I can meet the owners, that's awesome. And just kind of create that community and start highlighting local business, because we are an epicenter for startups and local businesses, and everyone
Okay.
kind of goes around that. And especially with COVID, we've really seen that enhanced. So that's probably my favorite thing is the creativity, the drive. It's a younger city here. I think our median age is about like 35, 36. So yeah,
Is
there's a
young.
lot to do, and a lot of people are just out and about doing fun things.
And for anyone that is watching this, um, and you may or may not know this, but there's a pretty big UCF fan club in the Denver area. And
Mm,
being that I'm from UCF,
yeah.
so if you're looking to move to Denver, I can connect you guys and she'll take great care of you and get you over there. And then you can go hang out with the UCF fan club.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I think it's so cool. A lot of the sports games and stuff, there's different restaurants in town
Mhm.
that different schools go to for all the games. So I went with my friend one time. She was a Wash U graduate, and it was so fun. So I don't know where UCF's restaurant is.
I could find out where the restaurant is, but I do know there's a specific spot that I've heard people say. So, because
Okay.
like in my business attorney, I have several that have moved to Denver, and they've
Mhm.
mentioned to me like a restaurant that they do hang out with for all the games and stuff like that, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And even my friend, when he was up in Denver last week, he met up with another one of our friends who lives in Denver, and he was telling her about how the big UCF group that is out there watching all the sporting events.
Mhm.
So it's kind of cool. So before we end, is there anything that we haven't talked about regarding Denver that you would like to share with our audience?
Mhm. I just think it's an incredible city. There's just so many things. We have 5 professional sport teams.
5?
5.
Nuggets, obviously the Broncos. You
Mhm,
have the Avalanche.
mhm, mhm. And
Then
then
you
we
have
have,
Colorado Rockies.
yes. So we actually have more actually. So yeah. So the Rockies, Avs, Nuggets, Broncos. We have the Rapids, which is our professional soccer team, and then we
Okay.
have Colorado Mammoth, which is our professional lacrosse team.
Professional lacrosse team. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It's kind of cool to the venues. The Nuggets and the Avs share the same venue, and then the Colorado Mammoth and Colorado Rapids also share the same venue. So they kind of utilize that space pretty well, but it's fun to watch. Like there's a Nuggets game one night, and within 24 hours there's an Avs game. So they kind of keep how they switch out the ice and the court. It's really cool to watch and really fascinating.
That's super cool. Well, definitely thank you for your time and your wealth of knowledge. We appreciate it. And I look forward to connecting with you with some people that want to relocate to Denver.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was an honor to be a guest. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'll see you guys all next time.